Hello friends, welcome to GCA. Hope you all are doing good. So today the video is regarding India-Sri Lanka relations, and before this I have made number of videos regarding India's relationship with various neighbors and also with major countries like US, Russia, Israel, France. And if you want to watch these videos, the link is available in the I button. Now again this video will be in crisp form. Firstly, I will cover the timeline of events followed by areas of concern, then the areas of cooperation, and finally the latest development. So again, without wasting any time, let us start. So India and Sri Lanka shared friendly relations for nearly 2500 years as the Buddhism spread from India to Sri Lanka, and there are deep racial as well as cultural links between both the countries. And Sinhalese people, who consist of 75% of the total population, they descend in part from the North Indian Indo-Aryan settlers who migrated to this island. Then the Tamil people, who make up 25% of the entire population, they belong to Dravidian group who migrated to Sri Lanka from 300 BC. And India and Sri Lanka, they share a maritime border and they are separated by the Palk Strait. And Sri Lanka is just 30 nautical miles away from India, and it's India's closest maritime neighbor. And both the nations occupy a strategic position in the South Asia. In the recent years, the relations have been marked by growing trade and investment, cooperation in the fields of development, education, culture and defense. But despite the friendly relations in the past, the relations remained ups and downs because of many issues that have strained the friendly relations between two nations. Now let us discuss India's role in Sri Lanka's geopolitical landscape. So basically, Sri Lanka has a majority population of Sinhalese who are Buddhist and a minority population of Tamils who are Hindus. And the Tamils occupy the northern region of Sri Lanka, and they are considered to have originally moved from South India. And during the period of late 1970s and early 1980s, there was an uprising by the Tamils against the Sinhala-centric government policies. Then India provided moral support to the Tamil movement and also trained their militant cadres. And most significant among was the Liberation Tigers of Tamilalam, that is LTTE. After that, Sri Lankan government blocked the hub for Tamils in 1987, and hence on 29th of July in 1987, an India-Sri Lanka peace accord was signed. And as per the provision of this peace accord, the 30th amendment to Sri Lankan constitution was to be made, which provided for the greater autonomy to the Tamils. And this peace accord also mandated Sri Lankan troops to move back to their barracks, and also for the deployment of Indian peacekeeping force and disarming of the Tamil Tigers. However, India was not completely successful in their mission of remaining a peacekeeper, and they got involved in intense fighting with the insurgents who did not accept the India Peace Sri Lanka Accord. And in that fight, a lot of Indian soldiers lost their life while fighting for someone else's war, as they had very little knowledge of the terrain. And even the initial contingent of the armed forces, they were without the map of the area. And moreover, the Sri Lankan government took advantage of the situation, and they aggravated the armed conflict between Indian Army and the LTTE by providing them moral and material support. Finally, the Sri Lankan president demanded the Indian troops to withdraw, and the withdrawal was completed by March 1990. And on 21st of May 1991, PM Rajiv Gandhi was assassinated by LTTE, and finally the Sri Lankan president stepped up operations against LTTE, and he took the help of India, where India provided intelligence support. And the conflict officially ended in May 2009 when the president of Sri Lanka, he delivered a message to the Sri Lankan parliament that Sri Lanka is liberated from terrorism. The leader of LTTE was eliminated on 18th of May in 2009, and the conflict had left 80 to 1 lakh dead bodies on both the sides and about 8 lakh people being internally displaced. Now let us discuss the major areas of concern. So the first is fishing dispute. So there have been number of incidents of Sri Lankan Navy personnel killing Indian fishermen in the Palk Strait. The issue started because of Indian fishermen, they have been using mechanized trawlers, which basically deprived the Sri Lankan fishermen of their catch and also damaged their fishing boat. So the Sri Lankan government, they want India to ban the use of mechanized trawlers in the Palk Strait region, and also negotiations on the subjects are undergoing. So far no concrete agreement has been reached because India favors regulating these trawlers instead of banning them altogether. And the another reason of concern for the Sri Lanka is that these mechanized trawlers are damaging the ecology, and India officially protested against the Sri Lankan Navy for its involvement in attacks on Indian fishermen in January 2011. And after the official protest, another fisherman was killed, and over 730 fishermen have been killed in the last 30 years. And recently 4 Indian fishermen died due to collision between Indian and Sri Lankan vessel on January this year. So the another area of concern is the China's influence in Sri Lanka. So in the recent year, Sri Lanka has moved closer to China especially in terms of naval agreement, and China has invested billions in loans and infrastructure projects and becoming the country's biggest foreign financer. And China constructed for Sri Lanka the world's biggest port on land till date, which is the port of Hambantota. Port was handed over to China on 99-year lease by Sri Lankan government as they were not able to pay back as they fall in the debt trap policy of China. And now Sri Lanka is again tilting towards China as recently they have scrapped its $500 million agreement with India and Japan to develop the East Container Terminal. Instead, they are seeking investment from both the countries for the West Container Terminal. And Sri Lanka has also handed over a $12 million energy project to Chinese firm for the joint development of 3 renewable power plants. And India has reportedly lodged a strong protest on this issue, making it clear to Sri Lanka that energy project possesses a grave security threat to India. So another issue of concern is no move yet on 13th Amendment. So when the Rajapaksa government came to power, President Rajapaksa he chose India as a first destination, and at that time PM Modi urged Sri Lanka to pursue the process of reconciliation to fulfill the aspirations of Tamil for equality, justice and peace, and called for the implementation of 13th Amendment to the Sri Lankan Constitution. However, the successive governments in Sri Lanka have not implemented it yet. So let us now discuss the areas of cooperation. So the first is development cooperation. So India is active in number of areas of development activity in Sri Lanka, and about 1/6 of the total development credit granted by India is made available to Sri Lanka. And in the recent past, 3 lines of credit were extended to Sri Lanka, and India has supplied medical equipment to hospitals at Hambantota and Point Pedro, and further a training program of 465 Sri Lankan police officers have been commenced in December 2005, and another 400 Sri Lankan police personnel are being trained for the course of maintenance of public order. Then talking about the cultural relations, so the cultural cooperation agreement was signed by the government of both the countries in 1977, and the Indian Cultural Center in Colombo actively promotes the awareness of Indian cultural by offering classes in Indian music, dance, Hindi and yoga. And as a part of commencement of 150th birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi, the events were organized on 2nd of October, and 550th birth anniversary of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji was also commemorated with talk, documentary screening and soulful attention of Kirtan. Now let us talk about the defense and security cooperation. So both the sides have long history of defense cooperation, and in the recent years, both the countries have steadily increased their military to military relationship, and both the sides conduct joint exercises. For army, we have Mitra Shakti, and for navy, there is Selenex. And India also provides defense training to Sri Lankan forces. And in April 2019, India and Sri Lanka they concluded agreement on countering drug and human trafficking. After the horrific Easter bombings in Sri Lanka, the government of Sri Lanka thanked the Indian government for the help given. Basically, the alert was already issued by Indian agencies before the attack, and they warned Sri Lankan government about the use of radicalized suicide bombers attacking churches. And Indian High Commission in Colombo. Talking about people-to-people contact, for further strengthening the people-to-people ties, the first ever pilgrimage to Bodh Gaya for the Sri Lankan Armed Forces personnel and their families was organized in June 2018, and for that a special Indian Air Force aircraft was deployed to Colombo to transport these families. And the second edition of the visit, where both India and Sri Lanka they visited Sri Lanka and India respectively, and a 55-member delegation from Mahabodhi Society of India they visited a prominent Buddhist site in Sri Lanka during the last week of June 2018. Talking about tourism sector, so tourism also forms an important link between both the countries. So Government of India formally launched e-tourist visa scheme for Sri Lankan tourists, and in a goodwill gesture, the visa fees was also reduced, and India is the top source for the tourist influx into Sri Lanka, whereas Sri Lankan tourists are also among the top 10 sources for the Indian tourism market. Then talking about commercial ties, both the countries are members of several regional and multilateral organizations such as SAARC, South Asia Cooperative Environment Program, South Asian Economic Union, BIMSTEC, and are working to enhance cultural and commercial ties. A bilateral free trade agreement was also signed between both the countries in the year 2000, and India's export accounted for 14% of Sri Lanka's global import, and India is also the 5th largest export destination for Sri Lankan good, accounting for 3.6% of its export. And both the nations are also signatories of South Asia Free Trade Agreement, that is SAFTA. So let us now talk about latest developments. So recently Prime Minister Modi reiterated the importance of Sri Lanka for India for its neighborhood first policy, and in March this year PM Modi and Sri Lankan President discussed issues relevant to bilateral and multilateral cooperation including the COVID pandemic, and India gifted 5 lakh doses of vaccine from the Serum Institute of India to Sri Lanka. So friends, this is all about today's video, and I have tried to cover each and every aspect within a short period of time, and I hope this information will be beneficial for you. So till then, keep learning, keep watching and keep supporting. Best of luck for your upcoming interview. Thank you and Jai Hind.